I should have walked away that night, but I didn't. It was late. I'd just gotten off a double shift at the diner, feet aching, uniform still smelling like fried oil and burnt coffee. I opened the fridge when I got home, nothing but half a jug of milk and one egg. My boy was sleeping on the couch. He didn't even make it to the bed that night, said he was just resting his eyes, but I knew the truth. He didn't want to ask me about dinner again, because I never had an answer. That kind of shame, it sinks in slow, then it grabs you by the throat. I sat on the floor next to him, trying not to cry. I'd already sold my phone last week, pawned the microwave 2 days ago. I even tried plasma, but they turned me away because I was underweight. I kept telling myself I just needed to make it through the month, just needed a break, just one. Then came the text from a girl I used to work with, said she knew a quick hustle, no guns, no mess, just money. I asked her what kind. She said, check drops, you just walk in, deposit, walk out, that's it. I stared at the message for 20 minutes, heart pounding, hands shaking. Then I typed back one word, okay. I knew it was wrong, but when your kids' shoes are taped together, when rent's 3 weeks late, morals start to look like luxury. The next day I showed up, fake name, fake smile. I walked into that bank like I'd done nothing wrong. They had it all ready, the account, the ID, the check. My job was to play dumb and smile, so I did. The teller didn't blink, deposit went through, and just like that, I had $500 in cash. I felt alive. For the first time in weeks, I bought groceries, real ones, meat, fruit, even cereal with cartoons on the box. My son's eyes lit up when he saw the table. Mom, are we rich now? I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it hurt so bad. That laugh still haunts me. I told myself that was it, one time, no more. But once you taste relief, it's hard to go back to drowning. Next week, she called again. Same setup, bigger payout. I hesitated for like 5 seconds. Then I said yes. I told myself all the usual lies. It's not hurting anyone. Bank's got insurance, just until I catch up. Third time, the manager got suspicious. He asked too many questions. Security looked at me funny. I left fast. That night, I couldn't sleep, kept looking out the window, jumping at every car that passed, and then it happened. 3 days later, I was picking up my son from school. We were halfway down the block when the sirens came. I froze. He squeezed my hand and asked, "What's that noise?" I couldn't even answer. The cuffs were cold. The looks from the other moms, even colder. They let me say goodbye. 1 minute, 60 seconds to try and explain to a 6-year-old why his mama was being put in a squad car. I still remember his face, confused, scared, small. That image burns in my head every night. At the station, they read me my rights. Asked me if I knew what I'd done. I just nodded. What was I supposed to say? That I did it for food? That I did it to keep a roof over our heads? No one cared. To them, I was just another name on a file, another number in the system. Court came quick, public defender, orange jumpsuit. The prosecutor didn't even look at me when he spoke. Repeat offence, deliberate fraud, no remorse. No remorse? I wanted to scream, tell them I cried every night, that I hated myself more than they ever could, that this wasn't who I was. But I stayed silent. They gave me 24 months. State facility. I turned to look for my son. But he wasn't there, just a bailiff motioning me forward, like I was already gone. And maybe I was, because that's the moment everything I was, everything I thought I could be, vanished. All for a decision I made in a moment of hunger, of fear, of weakness. And that's the thing about choices. You never know which one's going to follow you forever until it does. They call it processing, but nothing about it feels human. The moment those steel doors shut behind me, I knew I didn't belong to myself anymore. They took my clothes first, told me to strip, right there in front of 2 guards and a woman with a clipboard. I hesitated. She didn't. Snapped her gum and barked, "Clothes off, now!" I did what they said, because in that moment there's no pride left, only skin, bones and fear. They checked everything, hair, mouth, even made me squat and cough like I was hiding a weapon in my body. I wanted to disappear. They handed me underwear that didn't fit, a bra with one wire poking out, and a jumpsuit that smelled like bleach, mold and sadness. Bright orange, as if the colour wasn't enough to scream. You messed up. The floor was cold, the light too bright. Everything echoed, but nothing felt real. Fingerprinting came next. Then mugshots. They told me not to smile like I could. Then they gave me my number. Just that. 6 digits. No name. No Lisa. Just a label. From that second on, I wasn't a person. I was a case. They shuffled me through halls that looked like they'd been frozen in time. Peeling paint, cracked tiles, a smell I'll never forget, like disinfectant mixed with despair. When we reached intake, the noise hit me. Women yelling, laughing too loud, crying into their hands. It wasn't chaos. It was pressure. Like the air itself was heavy with stories no one wanted to tell. They gave me a plastic mattress, a rolled-up sheet, and a packet of rules. I clutched them like they meant something. Then a guard said, "C unit, bunk 42. Don't talk, don't stop." So I didn't. Walking into the unit was like being tossed into a fish tank. Eyes followed me. Some curious, some cold, some hungry. I kept my head down. Didn't look at anyone too long. Didn't want to give the wrong vibe. The door clanged shut behind me. And that was it. I was in. My bunk was a slab of metal with a mattress thin as paper. There was a woman already on the top bunk. Didn't say hi. Didn't even look up. I sat on the edge of the bed, gripping that packet of rules. Hands shaking, heart pounding like it wanted out of my chest. Dinner came. I didn't eat. Couldn't. The tray had some kind of grey meat, mushy carrots, and a roll so hard it could chip teeth. I just picked at it while listening to the room around me. Women talking in code, whispers under their breath. Someone crying in the corner, someone else laughing like she'd lost her mind. Lights out was at 9. No warning, just darkness. I lay there, eyes wide open. The mattress was damp. The blanket smelled like mildew. I could hear breathing, snoring, shuffling, and somewhere someone whispering prayers into the dark. I thought about my son. Was he okay? Was he scared? That night, I broke. I bit my fist to keep from sobbing out loud. But it didn't stop the tears. They came hard. Hot, silent. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Prison doesn't break you with bars. It breaks you with silence, with time, with the slow unraveling of who you used to be. Next morning, I was woken by a whistle and a voice shouting, "Count time! Stand up!" I stood, barefoot, confused. That was the first of many. You stand for count, you move when they say, you eat what they give. You shower when it's your turn. You don't ask questions. Everything is scheduled, controlled, measured. You don't get to choose when to pee. You don't get to decide who you bunk with. Even your mail is opened and read before you see it. They say you're doing time, but really, time is doing you. I remember watching the guards, how they looked through us, not at us, like we were furniture or trash. I remember seeing a girl, couldn't be more than 20, crying in the hallway. Guard walked right past her, didn't flinch. No one touches you, no one comforts you. That's not how it works in here. You learn fast, don't trust, don't cry where they can see, don't forget. You're alone. Even if there are 100 people around you, you're still alone. By day 3, my voice changed, quieter, harder. I walked different, back straight, eyes forward, like nothing could touch me. It was fake, but it kept me safe. There's no room for weakness here, no space for softness. You don't get to be Lisa the mom or Lisa the waitress. You're just inmate 37642. And everything else, gone. That's what prison does. It doesn't just lock you up. It strips you down, takes your name, takes your face, takes every part of you that ever felt free, and leaves you with nothing but walls and time and the sound of your own breath in the dark. First week inside, nobody told me anything, but everybody was watching. Not the guards, they didn't care. It was the inmates, the ones who had been here long enough to know how things really worked. The rule book they handed me at intake, just for show. The real rules, the ones that matter, ain't written anywhere. You either figure them out fast, or you pay for it. Like, you don't sit at just any table in the chow hall. Every group's got their spot. The lifers, the OGs, the ones with money, the white girls, the black girls, the Latinas, the rough ones who don't talk. You mess that up, even by accident, you better not show up to dinner the next day, for your own good. Same thing with showers. They ain't scheduled, but they are claimed. And if you go in at the wrong time or touch someone's stuff, that's when it gets dangerous. I learned by watching, kept my mouth shut, didn't ask questions. It's weird. Nobody tells you the rules, but they sure as hell expect you to know them. Like rule number 1, don't steal. Doesn't matter if it's a honey bun or a pair of socks. If it ain't yours, don't touch it. No excuses. Not hunger, not need, not even desperation. You steal and suddenly you don't have rights. You don't have protection. You don't have nothing. Another one, don't snitch. Even if you see someone getting jumped, even if someone stashes a weapon in your locker, you stay quiet. Because once you're labelled a rat, you're done. Ain't nobody sitting with you. Ain't nobody backing you up when things go south. You'll eat alone, walk alone, fight alone. And in here, alone is the most dangerous thing to be. There was a girl named Bree in my unit, new like me. She got into it with her cellie over a candy bar. One night, she screamed. We heard banging, yelling, then silence. Next morning, Bree was gone. They said she got transferred. But we knew better. Nobody asked questions. Nobody talked. That's how it is. You keep your head down and survive. Some women act like they run the place. They got outside connects, money on the books. Some got girlfriends in here who'll throw hands for them. And then there's the rest of us. Floaters, invisible. If you're lucky, someone takes you under their wing. Not because they care, but because they see something in you. A favour, a bargain, an asset. That happened to me. This older woman named Dre started talking to me. Didn't smile much, didn't talk unless she had something to say. But she told me the rules. The real ones. Walk with purpose, she said. Never look scared and never, ever owe anyone. That part stuck with me. Because in here, a favour is never free. You take someone's shampoo. Next week, you're holding their bottom line, or worse. One day I saw a girl named Tony get jumped in the rec yard. No warning. 3-on-1. Blood on the pavement. Guards didn't move until it was over. Later, I heard it was over a blanket. That's all. A torn-up blanket. But in here, everything costs. Everything means something. People form cliques, some based on race, some on time served, and some on where you're from. I didn't fit in anywhere. I wasn't tough enough, wasn't street enough. But I wasn't soft either. I had to be something else. Sharp, forgettable. Being invisible became my armour. It kept me out of fights. Kept me from being dragged into drama I couldn't survive. I watched girls get taken advantage of. New ones. Young ones who thought someone being nice meant they cared. It doesn't. Not here. You want kindness? You pay for it. With time. With silence. With obedience. I saw a girl trade her commissary just to borrow a hair tie. Another gave up her dessert for 3 weeks so she could use someone's curling iron. These aren't luxuries. They're currency. You learn fast that the smallest things, toothpaste, lotion, stamps, they're more valuable than money. They're respect. Lose respect, and you lose everything. One night, my bunkmate asked if she could borrow my soap. I paused. She looked at me hard. Not angry, just testing. I gave it to her, but I didn't ask for it back. Didn't mention it again. Next day, she handed me a fresh bar, said, "You're all right." That was her way of saying I passed. That's how it goes. No thank yous. No open praise, just signals, nods, a seat next to someone during chow. You earn your space in here, one quiet move at a time. But mess up once, one word out of place, one wrong glance, and everything you've built, gone. Just like that. So you adapt, you grow a shell, not because you're cold, but because it's the only way to stay alive. In this world, there are no second chances, no do-overs, just survival. And if you want to make it out whole, you play the game. Even if it breaks something in you, every damn day. Some days in there just blend together. Same walls, same faces, same routine. But there's always one day you remember. The day everything breaks. For me, it was a Tuesday. The air felt different, heavy, like something bad was coming, and the building could feel it before I did. I hadn't slept much the night before. My cellie was up crying again, quietly, into her pillow, but loud enough to keep me awake. I didn't ask why. We didn't talk like that. Breakfast was late. The guards were tense. You learn to read the guards real quick. When they move fast and don't joke around, something's up. I sat at my usual table, didn't eat, just picked at my tray, stomach twisted. Then I heard it, the voice, the one that made my blood freeze every time I heard it. Inmate 37642, mail call. I hadn't gotten a letter in weeks. Not from my son, not from my mom, not even junk mail. But now, there it was. One envelope. Thin. I opened it with shaking hands, read the first line, and felt the bottom drop out from under me. Your mother passed away peacefully in her sleep. I stopped reading. Couldn't. The words blurred. Burned. I felt the room spin. The noise around me faded, like I'd been dropped underwater. I got up, didn't know where I was going, just knew I had to move. Anywhere but there. I ended up in the laundry room, sat on a pile of towels, started to cry. Real crying. The kind that comes from deep in your gut, where pain turns into sound. And I didn't care who heard me. She was all I had left, the only person who ever looked at me and saw more than just a number. I never even got to say goodbye. The last time we talked, she told me to be strong, said, "You come home to that boy of yours? You hear me?" I said I would. But now she was gone. And I was stuck in here, surrounded by concrete and strangers with no one to hold me. No one to tell me it was going to be okay. I think I stayed in that room for an hour before a guard finally came in, didn't ask what was wrong, just told me to get back to the unit. I wiped my face, stood up, and something in me snapped. Not loud, not violent, just a shift. Like a part of me had gone quiet forever. The next few days, I moved like a ghost. Didn't talk, didn't eat, didn't sleep. Girls tried to say stuff, "You good? You need anything?" But I didn't answer. What was the point? Then one night, someone left something on my bunk, a folded piece of paper and a small bag of instant coffee. I opened the note. It was from Dre. "Loss don't get smaller, you just get stronger. I got you, girl. D." It wasn't much, but it was everything. That was the first time I cried without feeling like I was falling apart. I wasn't alone, not completely. Next day I sat with Drea at lunch. We didn't talk, just ate in silence. But the silence didn't hurt. After that, she started showing up more, would slide me her extra fruit, tell me when the guards were in a bad mood, let me sit in her spot during rec. No strings, no deals, just kindness. That's rare in here. And when it shows up, you hold on to it. A week later, I asked her why she helped me. She shrugged, said, "You reminded me of my sister. Before she got strung out, before she disappeared." Then she looked at me and said, "Pain don't make us weak. It just shows us who we are and who we can be if we survive it." That stuck with me. Grief didn't go away, but it stopped drowning me. I started showing up again, to work detail, to group, even wrote a letter to my son, told him I loved him, told him I was trying. I never got a reply, but that was okay. Writing it was the first step toward forgiving myself. And somewhere in the middle of all that mess, I felt something shift again. But this time it wasn't a break. It was the start of healing. The kind that doesn't come from the system, doesn't come from a program or a warden or some rehab counselor. It comes from people. From a hand on your shoulder when you feel like jumping off the edge, from someone sliding you coffee when you haven't eaten in days, from a woman who's lost more than you have, but still makes space for your pain. That's how change begins in here. Not loud, not dramatic, just one small moment where someone reminds you you're still human. Release day snuck up on me. No countdown, no celebration, just a folded paper, a bus ticket, and a good luck from a guard who never once said my name right. I stood at the gate, plastic bag in hand, a pair of state-issued shoes, 3 letters from my son, and that same damn coffee packet Dre gave me months ago. Never opened it. Never could. They cut off my wristband, opened the last door, and that was it. Freedom. But it didn't feel like freedom. It felt empty. No one was waiting for me. Not my son. Not a single soul. The air outside hit different. Too loud, too fast, too bright. Even the sky looked fake, like the world had kept turning without me, and I wasn't sure if I belonged in it anymore. I got on the bus and sat by the window, watched the trees blur past, hands gripping my bag like someone might take it. Old habits die hard. I kept thinking, now what? 2 years inside changes you, and not in the ways people think. Yeah. I walk different now, talk slower, think twice before speaking. But it's more than that. I don't trust easy. I don't sleep well, and I can't stand doors that lock from the outside. First night out, I stayed at a halfway house. Tiny room, thin mattress. But it was mine. No cellmate, no count. Still, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made my heart jump. Every silence felt like it was waiting to swallow me whole. Next morning, I went job hunting. Tried to keep my chin up. Tried to believe I had a shot. Filled out 12 applications. All asked the same question. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? I stared at that box. Every time. And every time. I checked yes. The smiles disappeared quick after that. No openings right now. We'll keep your resume on file. You're just not a fit for us at this time. They don't say it, but they mean you don't belong here. After the 6th rejection, I sat on the curb outside a gas station, lit a cigarette I'd been saving since release, looked at the smoke drifting up and thought, maybe I'll always be stuck. Then a woman walked by, older, sharp eyes. She glanced at me, paused, then asked, "You just get out?" I nodded. Didn't bother lying. She nodded back, then handed me a flyer. Women Rebuilding Support Group, job placement, housing referrals. I stared at it like it was gold. That night I showed up to their meeting. Sat in the back. Didn't say much, just listened. One woman talked about losing her kids. Another about 15 years inside. Another said she relapsed 3 times before getting clean. But none of them looked broken. They looked alive. When it was my turn, I almost passed. But something made me speak. I told them I messed up. Told them I lost my mom while I was inside. Told them I still didn't know if my son would ever forgive me. They didn't pity me. They didn't judge. One woman leaned over and said, "You're still here. That counts for something." That sentence stayed with me. Still does. I started showing up every week, started helping out, folding chairs, making coffee, just being useful. It felt good. Felt right. Eventually, I landed a job at a diner. Not glamorous, but it paid. The first paycheck made me cry. Not because it was a lot. It wasn't, but because I earned it honest. No fear, no lies. I mailed a copy of that check to my son. Didn't write anything else, just the check and a note. Still trying, love, Mom. No reply, not yet, but I'm not giving up. Some days are hard, real hard. I still wake up in cold sweats. Still flinch when someone raises their voice. Still have moments where I forget I'm not locked up. But then I remember the women in that room, their stories, their strength. And I remember Dree, her voice in my head. Pain don't make us weak. It shows us who we are. I carry that with me. I carry all of it. The mistakes, the shame, the silence, the small moments of kindness that kept me breathing when I wanted to quit. I'm not the same woman who walked into that prison, and I don't want to be. Now, I walk with my head up. Not because I've forgotten, but because I remember, and maybe that's what redemption really is. Not erasing the past, not pretending it didn't happen, but choosing every day to be better than the worst thing you ever did.